included Library Services Construction Grant, $100,000, Kempner Foundation, $5,000, Revenue Sharing, $20,000, and the Galveston County Commissioners, $10,000. The rest, $139,000, was raised from small businesses and individuals. The library is located at the corner of 2nd and Berry Avenue. It is a wonderful building that has been used by the people of Hitchcock for the last 10 years and continues to be an incredible source of pride. The library is 598 square feet and constructed of concrete masonry. It has a spacious lobby with a display case. The Tree of Honor for persons who have donated at least $500 dominates the room, along with the picture of Miss Genevieve Miller. There is a 724 square foot meeting room with an adjoining kitchen, and the adult and children's area provide adequate space for our books, and there are several tables for adults to sit at. We're very proud of our checkout station, and there is a storage room in the back, a librarian's office, and a workroom, and also an archives room where we store our local history records. The Genevieve Miller House has been partially restored and is used for special programs by the Hitchcock Heritage Society. It is decorated for Christmas each year, depicting an old-fashioned Christmas. And the 2.5 acres of land donated by Ursula Latimer is used for festivals, programming for both children and adults, and is enjoyed by library patrons. The success of our library project and the response from the community it created made our citizens believe that if we could mobilize together and make a beautiful library possible and do it without cost to the taxpayers, that perhaps anything is attainable if you are willing to work hard to make it happen. In 1986, the Texas Library Association, at its annual conference, selected our library to receive the Library Project of the Year award. They referred to us as the library that was nickeled and dimed into existence. The award further stated that our project exemplified what can be achieved in a small community with a low tax base when it recognizes the need for and importance of a good public library, captures effective and enthusiastic leadership, and develops the means to equip and build a beautiful and useful public library facility for its people. Our library was chartered in 1970, and it occupied a small portion of space in a building that had been a grocery store in the early 1920s. It was founded by a small group of dedicated volunteers who were determined to provide library services in Hitchcock. There was no funding for books and only a token city budget. I remember taking my children to the library during the first summer that the library offered a summer reading program. There was one 36-inch shelf that contained all the books for children that they owned. And 3 weeks into the program, my girls had read everything the library was able to provide them. I remembered my trips to the library in Santa Monica, California, and I couldn't help but compare the two experiences. I was touched that this small Texas town that was to become my home had worked so hard to provide what they could for our children. I became involved in the library in 1977. when I was asked if I would think about working in the library as head librarian. I had absolutely no training in library science and was amazed that the board would even consider me. As one of the board members reminded me recently, Kathy, when you started working in the library, you didn't know A to Z about the library. By that time, the library had moved into new quarters. It was a dull, yellow metallic building, about 50 years old, that had been a railroad pump station, approximately 1,800 square feet, roomy in comparison to the corner grocery store, but in deplorable condition. I was amazed at the quality of the book collection when I first entered the library. The library was receiving book funding from Galveston County, so they had some very nice books. But after working there about 6 months, I realized that in another 2 years there would be no space at all for new books. Almost every available wall was covered with books crammed on shelves with no space to move them. There was one table to sit at, and the building leaked from the windows, floor, and ceiling. Every time the rain came from the east, the water would actually come in the door, and we would have to sweep out the children's room as quickly as we could because it would be covered in water. Books were being damaged by water and mildew. We received a $5,500 grant from Moody Foundation and were convinced that it would be easy to get a much larger grant in the future. And so we had no problem with the idea of raising further funds as we needed to.